learning the words?
Huh?
Are you learning the words? Okay. Are you doing them this time? Okay.
You gotta do mine.
Okay.
You gotta do mine.
I'll do that, right?
Yeah, cut me open what I bleed. Cut you open what you bleed. The only thing that really separates me is melanin. My gun talk pierce through your skeleton. Test my benevolence, question my reverence. Unity is evident. We gotta bridge the gap. Oh, baby, let's bridge that gap. Oh, baby, let's really bridge that gap. Let's bridge that gap today. We gon' bridge that gap today.
I know.
Welcome back. Now we're going to get into a part of the show. We're going to introduce ourselves a little bit. You know why we're doing the show. Now I guess we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves so you can decide and judge whether we're qualified to be white and black.
On camera.
On camera.
At the same time.
You could go figure. We actually look good on camera,
I
too.
think so. I think I'm sexy.
Yeah. I'm not arguing with that.
And you shouldn't. You know.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Tasha Wynn. Nobody calls me that unless you know me from elementary school.
We have a friend that calls you Tasha, though, right?
Yeah, she knows me from
elementary
school.
Okay.
Yeah. I grew up from here, Norfolk, Virginia, born and raised, Norfolk General. I came up, I remember as a child, my mother and my father, they split up after a while. But I remember when we used to be on welfare, food stamps, the paper kind, not the card, that's new stuff.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's new school.
I'm
from the old school with the book of food stamps. Yeah. So
they were pink, weren't they?
They were pink, green, blue.
Okay.
Yeah. So I used to be embarrassed to go in the store with them.
I bet I would be.
But my mother always worked, and I was never without food or shelter, or never. I wasn't a horrible upbringing, but we did need help when I was little, and I grew up getting that assistance when we were younger. But I graduated high school. I was the only one of my brothers. I'm the only girl. I'm the only one that graduated high school, and I'm attending college now. So, and I know I'm familiar with both sides of the street side, and I'm familiar with being in settings where the streets isn't effective for you. Like, it's not cool to talk with slang and show that side in every setting. Right. So I had to learn. That was something I had to learn. I didn't just because I was real I had a gold tooth on this tooth right here, big gold tooth. I got it when I started at this place. I had a gold tooth. Yeah, I got it taken out because I'm like, man, I look real hood with this tooth in my mouth. Like, and it's not that I don't want to be hood, because that's a part of me.
Right.
But I knew that to reach certain levels that I wanted to reach, I couldn't have that big gold tooth in my mouth, and that's just what it is.
Right.
So,
and I think that you bring up an interesting point with that, in that it's not only white culture, black culture that we're talking about here. Mm. We're talking about cultures within cultures. There's varying degrees of you've got low income black, but you've got country, and you've got city, mm-hmm. or street, hood, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But then you've got more affluent, black people who are pretty much ignoring the fact that there is anybody else.
Yeah.
And of course, we as white people have a whole range of crazy people too.
Yeah, and I think it's that kind of dynamic within both of our cultures. Like, we have affluent black families that shun the families that aren't, that privileged.
Right.
The same thing.
They shun the people in their own family.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
I guess that happens with everybody, but you don't expect that.
You wouldn't, but it happens,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's just what
it
it
happens
is.
a lot, I bet.
It does, and it's discrimination between the cultures and inside of the culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Inside of the races. So it's just a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think it's just I don't know. I think it's just I don't know what it is, but that's what we're here to talk about.
Right. Well, I spent the first 27 years of my life growing up in northeastern Wisconsin. I grew up 35 minutes south of Green Bay, and there was a handful of Native Americans, but they didn't really bother anybody. There were certain people that hated them, and I didn't understand why. But we didn't have any black people in northeastern Wisconsin. In the town that I grew up in, we had two. We had a guy who was married to a white woman, and they had a daughter, and she was black. So there was only two. But I don't remember anybody ever saying anything about it. Maybe there was a little whisperings when they first moved in, but after that it was like, whatever, no big deal. They met a couple in college, saw a few whenever we went to the zoo, that kind of thing, because that was near Milwaukee, and so Milwaukee had a few, but not like here.
Right.
It's funny. We had been living here for probably 2 years, and Ginger and I were going to Wisconsin to visit family, and we were flying into Madison, which is the capital of Wisconsin, and my sister, who was going to school there at the time, said, "Gee, I don't know if you're gonna want to come here because we're having all these race problems here. They're having race riots and stuff like that." And so we get in the car at the airport, and we're driving from the airport back into the capital area where the university is, right? And I'm looking around, and I'm looking around, and I'm looking around, and I said, "You're having race problems?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's horrible." I said, "How can you be having a race problem? I saw 5 black people in 10 miles. I said, I can see 5 black people in 10 feet in Virginia. We don't have any problems. Why are you?" But there again, it's perception. I think nobody understood each other, and nobody tried to bother. They were like, "Oh, I'm afraid. Which brings up the other point. When it first got here, I went to work for a rental company. And what we did was we rented furniture and appliances and TVs, VCR, stereos to low-income people. And, well, that's what we did. And what I didn't know, because I just didn't know, was that when we went into poor black neighborhoods, that I was supposed to be afraid. I didn't know that. So I wasn't.
Right.
I walked in there like I belonged in there. That's my job, and nobody bothered me. Now, a lot of people say it's because of my size and things like that, but I think there's something more to it, because there were people that were my size and larger that were treated differently than I was in those neighborhoods. But I think it's about fear. People know when you're afraid, and it's not only true in black neighborhoods. It's true in white neighborhoods too. If 5 white guys see that there's a person who's afraid walking into their neighborhood, well, they're going to have a certain kind of bravado, or a certain kind of, well, we can mess with this person if we want to. We can get away with it, right? But I never knew I was supposed to be afraid, so I got a really good education. I learned a lot in a very short period of time about the hood, about the streets, about
the black man's is dumb. Tell that story.
What?
You gotta tell that story.
Oh yeah, you set me up. I don't know.
And people see that and be like, "What?"
Yeah, I know. What's it gonna make me look like?
No, that's why I'm like, you gotta tell a story.
All right, I was working for this this rental company, and I got a call from one of our customers, come and pick up the bedroom set. I'm tired of paying for it. Come and get it. So I get to this this apartment, and it's not low income. You know, it's not. It's all African American, but you know, it's not low income. It's step above that, right? Mm-hmm. So I walk in, I knock on the door, and this woman answers the door, and she says, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Well, I'm here from this rental company, and I'm here to pick up the bedroom set." "You're here to what?" I said, "Yeah," said the guy's name, said to come and pick it up. And she goes, "Well, that dumb mother. Let me tell you something," she says. "Let me tell you something. The black man's is dumb. The white man's, he ain't dumb. White woman's, she ain't dumb. Black woman's not dumb. But the black man's, he's dumb." I'm sitting there going, "Oh, what do I do with this? What do I do with this?" Because she's really funny.
Right.
I mean, she's really funny. She's pissed. I mean, really pissed. But it was, and I'm going, "Oh, I can't laugh at this. That's just, that would just be rude." The guy I was with, I thought he was gonna soil himself, because he was laughing. He was just had his face buried in his mattress.
Oh man, that's just classic.
It was classic.
Yeah.
The worst of it was they only had like 3 payments left on the thing, and it would have been theirs.
All right. Did you pick it up?
No. I asked her to call into the shop, and we left it there. And she beat me to the store to pay it off, because I had a couple of other runs to do, and I was showing up as she was leaving, and so she thanked me and was on the way. Mm-hmm. But
that's just classic, right?
It is classic.
You know.
Yeah, the story's funny for everybody, but I think some people it's funny for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So I guess we gotta wrap that up. We'll talk to you soon.